Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast. And once again, we're absolutely delighted to be joined by Mr. Hughes. How you doing, Jack?
All good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, all good. Thank you. Thank you for coming on again. I know you've been incredibly busy over the last 24 hours. It's been a massive 24 hours for you. So I'll let you tell the people watching the video what you've been up to for the last 24 hours.
Yeah, so obviously I had my fight the other day. We got the victory just as I predicted. And then obviously after that, I've been getting back to everyone today. I've refueled on loads of food, just spent the day with my missus, and just loving life, for the last 24 hours.
Not watching calories today, I imagine.
Nah, not today, mate. Not for a long time. I don't think I'll be watching calories till the new year.
I was gonna ask you. Obviously, you've been training incredibly hard. You've invested a lot in the last few months. So, how long do you take off?
I'm normally one of them people that I'll fight on the Saturday and I'll be in the gym on the Monday. But honestly, mate, like this camp was just so, I don't know, like so physically and like emotionally draining that I think I'm just gonna have off until pretty much like after Christmas or the New Year. I think I've earned it. I think it's well deserved. I've never done it in my career before, but I think this is the first time. I think after a fight, I need to have a good little time to recharge and come back fresh as I said, after Christmas or the New Year.
Yeah, 100%, mate. It's well documented. If you follow yourself, emotionally, physically, financially, you've invested a lot into the fight. But mate, I'm so pleased for you because of those reasons, of course. And you're the first fighter that we had on the channel a little while ago.
Yeah.
So 2 years out of the ring, fighting again last night at York Hall. How did that feel?
Mate, it was incredible, honestly. Like I really feel that, especially in within like this year, people have really started to like invest in me. I feel like there's a whole new kind of aura about me that people are really starting to love, and they're really starting to like buy into. I've never ever have I ever been a ticket seller in my whole career. And before I was only selling like sometimes like 20-40 tickets, and I was putting my own money in to just to make sure fights were happening for probably like 9 out of 10 like, the fights I'm having. And yeah, this time it was like I nearly sold 100 tickets for this fight. York Hall was booming for me. Like honestly, like everyone said that, like, mate, when you come out, just the whole atmosphere changed. Like the place was singing, everyone was cheering. Like I walked out after my fight and people that I didn't even know, like there was a little kid that come up to me with his mum, and his mum was like, he's been screaming your name all fight and like he wants to get a photo with you. And I was like, oh bless him. I was like, of course he can have a photo with me.
Yeah.
And then
Must
like
be quite nice,
mate, it was like the security guard said to me, like, dude, I've never seen him before. And he was like, mate, this was of all the time I've been working on the boxing shows, he's like, this was the best fight I've seen. And like I just think it's amazing. I think people are really starting to believe in me. They're really starting to get behind me. And yeah, man, last night was a night I won't forget anytime soon.
I think people appreciate, the work ethic that you've shown over the last few months. I've spoken to a lot of other people on the channel, and we spoke a lot about you, when I've just been catching up with them before interviews and stuff. And people, really just, appreciate your work ethic. I think as well, with all, like, you caught COVID, you've had Ricky Little pull out of the fight several times. So for you just to keep on going, I imagine there were times that were quite challenging.
Oh, mate, it was horrible, man. I think, I don't know if it was you I said it to or the other fellas on the podcast that I did. And I said that it was not training wise, but I said just like with everything that happened, it was like the worst camp of my entire life. Like with everything that went on, like there were times, like especially at the beginning of the second time, like I was getting ready for Ricky Little, but I was just like, oh fuck this, man. Like why do I even do it? Like why do I even put my body through it? And like things like that. Sometimes boxing can be a horrible sport. As much as I love it and as beautiful as I think it is, sometimes like the things that people don't see when when it's freezing fucking cold outside and you've got to wake up and go for a run, like when it's snowing, raining, like everything, you know, and like when your body's just so like physically drained and you've got to go out and you've got to spar like 10 rounds with someone smacking you in the head, like, you know, it's things like that people
Not really
don't
selling it,
understand.
mate.
Like, yeah, like, things like that people don't see. They don't see that part. They don't understand it. And like sometimes it can be horrible, mate. And like, yeah, like, and it was like that for a long, like, pretty much 90% of the camp. It was like that for me, and that's why I really want to just have like some time to myself this time, you know, and just come back recharged and refreshed, because I feel like, yeah, it was just it was a long draining camp. It was a kind of a horrible experience. So I'm not gonna lie to you. And this is coming from someone that absolutely bleeds the sport and like loves training. Like when for things like that happen and like I start to hate training, that's when I think to myself, yeah, let's take a couple weeks off, you know, start to miss it again, and then I can come back and, you know, get ready for my title fight and start to love the whole atmosphere of boxing again.
Of course, there's been so much, you know, uncertainty, not only with boxing, but just in the world over the last couple of years. So, it must be incredibly hard to stay focused at times. You've sacrificed your holiday to America. I know that, you know, with work, it's been difficult. So your missus has supported you massively. But actually looking at the fight last night, how did you feel in the ring?
Oh, mate, it was brilliant, man. Like, it was just brilliant. Now, everyone, sometimes you can say things that you can say and tell people like, oh, you know, I'm going to be so different this time, and so on and so forth. And, you know, people say this all the time, like, you're going to see the best Jack Hughes on this night, the best Jack Hughes on this night. But when you say these things, you have to deliver on it. And I really feel like I delivered, because as I said, the little kid saw it. I was his idol for that night. The security guard saw it. And then all my friends, you know, afterwards that have, you know, seen all my fights, it was like, mate, there's just something different about you these days. Like, you know, as I said, there's like a whole new aura about me. And I feel like it's starting to rub off on people. And I feel like people can feel it themselves, you know, when they see my videos, they see the work ethic, like you're saying. And yeah, it was just incredible. When I was in there, I feel at home when I'm in the ring. I feel like it's my place. Like I love to fight, as weird as that sounds, like the majority of people hearing that, like I love it. Like, and then in this, you know, Kieran tells me all the time, he's like, Jack, please don't do these, like, because obviously sometimes when I'm sparring and stuff, I just do stupid things. And he's like, you know, today, mate, don't do none of that stupid stuff. And like, there was the guy in there called Tony. He was doing my corner as well. He was doing the second, and he was sitting there and he was like, what does he mean, like this stupid stuff? And then in the 6th round, I got caught with a massive shot and just dropped my hands and was like, whoa, and like, you know, dropping and showboating and like going around and like waving my hands in the air. And then like when I come back in the end, like Kieran's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you doing that? And like, yeah. But you know, this is what I love, man. This is my life. So I just enjoy it. I enjoy every moment of it. And that's last night. I just enjoyed every single moment from the first bell to the end. You know, it was a great experience for me.
Yeah, do you know what? When I phoned you earlier, I was at my brother-in-law's and we were just talking about fitness, because he's incredibly fit and he does a lot of running. He trains all the time. And I was telling him about you, and he was saying to box, to get in that ring and to have your opponent just trying to knock you unconscious, you've got to be, I don't know if it's maybe a little bit not crazy, but you've got to have something special about you to do boxing, because it's a tough sport. And you know, when you're going out there as well, you're relying on selling tickets. It is difficult. How many did you sell in the end?
I've done nearly 100. I think it was around 93, 95 I did in the end. If it was the Ricky Little fight, I reckon I could have probably done over 100 tickets.
That's a big number.
It was, man. Yeah, as I said, man, it was booming in there for me last night.
I saw your reaction, sorry, on social media when you got the decision. Yeah. Fell to your knees. How what did that mean to you winning last night?
Yeah, everything, honestly. Like, even people were saying it was giving them like goosebumps when they saw me fall to my knees and all that. It was an very emotional moment, mate, for me.
There must have Yeah, there must have been times, I know that when Ricky Little pulled out, they got you another opponent. But there must have been, even there, you must be thinking, oh, is this actually going to happen?
Oh yeah, like I kept saying to my missus, I just felt like, you know, obviously when I woke up the on the day yesterday of fight night, I was just like, just this felt like it was never going to happen, you know. And I was kind of like, I can't even believe I'm actually going to fight tonight after everything, you know, like the out for 2 years with COVID, you know, out of lockdown, in lockdown, out of lockdown, in lockdown, to, you know, you've gotten a fight on this day. Oh no, you don't now. It's this day. Oh, he's pulled out again. Oh, we've got this guy. What do you want to fight this guy? Like, what do you think of him? He's four weights heavier than you, you know. Kieran weren't happy about it. No one was happy about it. I was the only one that probably really wanted to get in there and actually fight him was me. Like, and then when I announced it, everyone was like, "Oh, that's a risk. You shouldn't fight that guy." You know, like, so it really didn't ever feel like it was ever going to happen again. And yeah, it's kind of a bit of a relief to kind of get out of the way, you know.
No, mate, congratulations to you and Kieran. I know that you'll be very happy with him. But what your opponent? I know you had to step up a couple of weights. What was it like being in the ring with him?
Yeah, like it wasn't as bad as I thought, you know, because to be honest, for a flyweight, mate, I'm incredibly strong, like incredibly. I would go as far as to say one of the strongest in the world. Like for my weight, I was deadlifting. I think my max deadlift was like 130 kilo. I've never heard of anyone deadlifting for 52 kilo, deadlifting 35 kilo, 135 kilo for someone that's 52. I've never heard of that. But I mean, obviously, you get it in like the Olympics and shit. But for an average man, you know, I've never heard people do that kind of stuff. And I've never been bullied in the ring by anyone my weight. I I feel like I've got the best chin in the world for a flyer. I think that's a fact. You know, if you come to my fights, that's definitely a fact. You know, like, and I did. You know, when I was in there, I'm getting hit by a guy that's 2 weights heavier than me, and it didn't phase me. I took his best shots, and I just shook them off and kept marching forward. It was, yeah, it didn't bother me too much, to be honest.
I wanted to ask you as well, because again, you know, with all the uncertainty, you know, and all the things that you've been through, like people put, you know, Ricky Little putting out on the fight, COVID. I know you lost a friend a little while ago as well. And there's going to be a lot of people out there that, you know, watch the video, and just a lot of people in general that maybe have stopped their particular sport because of lockdown, or might just want to get into a sport, but maybe just feel like for whatever reason they can't. For you, you seem incredibly mentally tough and resilient. What advice would you give to people?
Just whatever if you want to do something, I just think you've got to do it. You can't listen to anyone, because as I said in another interview I did the other day, when someone asked me, you know, why are you doing it? Like, whatever you do, especially in boxing, it's always going to be a lose-lose situation, because whatever you do in life, there's always going to be someone that's going to have an opinion, no matter what it is. It's like when I took that fight with that guy that's bigger than me, it's always going to be a lose-lose. Like, if I won it, well, sorry, if I lost it, they would have been like, oh, you shouldn't have took that fight anyway. If I took the fight, they're like, why is he taking this fight with someone 4 weights heavier than him? If I didn't fight, they'd be like, oh, he's pulled out again. He's pulled out again. You know, it's always a lose-lose. So what I would say is, if you want to do something, just fuck everyone else and just do it. Because at the end of the day, there's always going to be people that's got an opinion. And the only person that really matters in life is just to make yourself happy. And that just do it. And sometimes it's going to be hard. Sometimes there's going to be shit days. There's going to be people talking shit. But if it makes you happy and you want to do it, just go out there and just do it.
You know what? That, from what you're saying, it just makes complete sense. I heard a quote the other day. It was something like, "It, what is it? It only needs to make sense to you." You know, you've not got to worry about trying to convince everyone else that, you know, you're doing the right thing. If you feel like you can do something, you know, sometimes I get nervous coming on here and doing this, you know, talking to people, trying to get a good interview. You're going in a ring, people are trying to knock your head off. So I have to cut yourself, oh, come on, get yourself together. And now, you know, but yeah, no. So like I say, I just wanted to ask that, because you've been through a lot, and you've just kept your nut down. You kept on working. People have, you know, paid money to see you fight, and there'd have been a lot of disappointed people if you hadn't have fought yesterday. So credit to you, mate.
Thanks, mate.
So what's next?
Well, obviously a nice, long deserved rest. and then we go again in March for the Southern Area title.
And you remind me of the opponent for that. I have contacted him, but I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Paul Roberts is the opponent we've got for March.
And when did he last fight?
Not that long ago. I think it was about 2 months ago. I think he fought a journeyman called Shoutouts, the smallest boxer in Britain. Funny enough, 4'11".
I know it's a little while off yet, March. I know you've only just had your fight last night, but I take it after everything you winning again last night, you're feeling confident going into that one.
Oh, always, man. I'm always confident when going into battle. I love it, mate. It's just, as I said, it's where I feel at home.
Because I was thinking, if you all being well, you win that. You're only a couple of wins away from a huge fight.
Yeah, like, this is what I mean. At flyweight, there's just not many of us, especially in Britain. Like in my weight class, I think there's only like at the moment like 12 people registered, I think, in Britain. So if I win the Southern Area, I'm basically next in line for the British. Do you know what I mean? Like there really isn't many people out there. So if I win in March, the big fights are, as you said, literally just round the corner for me.
What's his record like at the moment?
Paul Roberts, he's won 3, lost 3, and drew 1.
Well, I was going to say nearer the time, we'll get you both on here together. I suppose a bit like gloves are off, if you like, and I think that'd be quite good to get your thoughts on the fight. Throw some things in there, get you both rallied up.
Yeah, mate, I'll look forward to that. I'd love to do that, mate. It'd be good fun.
100%. So, mate, we're not far away from the end of the year. Just a couple of other things as well. I wanted to ask you what the best fight was this year, like you've seen, or
Sometimes it's these questions, I hate them because it's like you can't think of all the fights you've seen, especially like in the year. Like, but do you know what? I watched the George Camboas and Teofimo Lopez fight yesterday. That was amazing, man. It had everything. Both fighters got dropped. They went to war, big shots, like split decision, like had all the drama, man. That was a top fight. And Gabe Rosado as well, his fight, what a fight that was. He ended up losing, but that was definitely a contender for fight of the year. Off the top of my head, they're the 2 fights I can really think of that stood out for me. Maybe the George Camboas one really stands out because it only happened last night. So maybe that's why that one stands out for me.
I saw in your story, actually, I think I don't know what time you got back, but did you go out after for a couple of drinks, or was it like?
Yeah, I went out. Yeah, I went down to Soho.
So you're feeling all right today then?
Yeah, I mean, I was up at like 9 o'clock. I got in at 5 and I was up at 9. Like, yeah, mate,
I was going to say, after last night, you probably could have drunk 20 pints, mate. You'd still be absolutely buzzing.
Yeah, trust me.
And if you could be matchmaker, what fights would you like to see next year?
I'd like to see it. Do you know what? I really want to see Maxi Hughes fight for a world title. And I know that's probably not what a lot of people would hope for, but I just think he really deserves it. I think ever since lockdown happened, he's just come on leaps and bounds, and he has beaten every single person that they put in front of him. And he's had some massive wins. And now he's like IBO champion. Like, yeah, all this stuff he's won, and he's still working a 9 to 5 job. Like, I just think I would love to see him get a world title shot with either of Devin Haney or George Camboas. I'd love to see obviously Tyson Fury versus Usyk for all the belts.
Yeah.
I'd really like to see Sonny Edwards versus, I can't remember his first name, but that Martinez guy that dropped his brother and ended up getting a no contest because he hit Charlie Edwards when he was on the floor. I'd love to see that fight, especially because it's in my division as well. I think it'd be a cracking fight as well for the flyweight division.
And if Usyk fights Fury, how do you see that going?
I can never see anyone beating Tyson Fury personally. No. I can't see it.
I think at the moment, Tyson Fury would have to have an incredibly bad day at the office to be beaten. But something I was going to say to you, actually, I don't know if you've seen it because you've been incredibly busy. You've had hundreds of messages from people, but late last night, IFL put an interview out. Coogan done an interview with Joshua, and he asked him about stepping aside for money, basically, so Fury can fight Usyk, and he didn't rule it out.
Really?
He was saying something like, in boxing, I want to be respected. I want to be known as the most smartest man in boxing, like business wise, and I want to be known as a throwback fighter. And then he said that. Then Coogan asked him about stepping aside for money, and he said basically, if it's worth looking at, if it makes sense, financially and business wise, he wouldn't rule it out. I found that quite interesting.
Yeah, nah, like I don't know, man. Like I just think boxing's not really full of like real fighters nowadays. I mean, don't get me wrong, like money's great, like you need it to live and so on and so forth. But guy's already a multi-millionaire, so if he's a real fighter, why is he just? And he just said he wants to be known as a throwback fighter. Well, there's no throwback fighter, like real fighter, that's going to just step aside just because someone waves a little bit of cash in front of them. If he's the mandatory challenger, like this is another thing, just to while we're on that subject, like when when they gave money to Deontay Wilder to step aside so they could make Fury AJ,
yeah,
then he was like no, and then everyone's like, Deontay Wilder's he's a dick because no, sorry, he asked for more money, yeah, like, and they was like, he's a dick and all that, like, well, he's not really a dick, is he? Because he's going to be making like 120 mil to fight Fury, and he's going to get the belts, and like they're just only giving him 20 mil, so like to step aside, like, it doesn't make sense, man. Like, so I actually went completely off topic there, but it's because I thought he did something else, but yeah. But anyway, yeah, but yeah, no, like he just fight, man. That's what people want to see. They want to see the best fight the best. So I just don't understand this all like, I've got to be a businessman. It's a fucking fighting sport, just fight. I could have stepped aside, and not fought that guy yesterday, because if I wanted to be a smart businessman and like just wait till March and play it safe, like, man, I'm a fighter, man. It's what I do. It's what people want to see. They want to see me fight. Just fucking fight, man. Like that's how I look at it.
I think the problem is though as well, there's so many people around them that want their cut. There's so many broadcasters involved, promoters. It's big egos. Sometimes these fights are hard to get made. But yeah, you're right. That's why I just wanted to ask about it, because it was a little bit strange. On one hand, he's saying throwback fighter, when I fight anyone, but then on the other hand, he's saying, well, maybe if the money's right, I will step aside. But I don't know. It's just a weird one. Even his interview we done a little while ago, he was sort of saying, the learning's done, and then he's like, well, I want to go out and I want to go and learn. So it's strange sometimes to know what these people are really thinking and what the real sort of agenda is.
Like, don't get me wrong, I don't know the guy personally, but I've always thought that AJ comes across very, very fake. Like, it looks like he reads from a script half the time, and that's why I think half the time what he says doesn't make sense, because people are whispering in his ear to say one thing, and then he kind of I just don't even think he knows what to say himself half the time. Like you just said there, he contradicting himself like 6 times in the space of however long the interview was. Like, this again is why I think people are kind of like starting to latch on to me at the moment, because everything I do it's very raw, it's very real. Like there's no fakeness behind anything I do, and that's why I just don't really have a lot of time for AJ. I just see his things, I see his interviews, and I just look at it and I think this guy is so fake, like so fake. Like, so yeah, man, just be real, just fight. That's just all people really care about. It's just the fights, really. So just take the fight, don't take the money. You're already a multi-millionaire. I don't think you're ever going to struggle in your life. Like, so just fight the best and give the fans what they want.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think with yourself, mate, you're just incredibly genuine. People understand and know the sacrifices that you've made over the last, well, I keep saying a few months, but over the last, ever since you've turned pro. One thing that we've learned from doing this podcast is that fighters like yourself, we spoke to obviously other ones as well, it is tough. You don't always have the luxury of just focusing on your boxing. I know yourself, financially, you've had to give up a lot. You're looking forward to going on a wonderful holiday with your missus. Obviously, you've had to sort of put that on the back burner. You're working around your boxing. Like you say, you're out training in the morning. getting it in where you can. You're doing as many interviews as you can to promote the fight. So yeah, I'm not surprised, mate. You had a big turnout, and I'm really pleased for you, because it must have been an absolute buzz to walk out of York Hall when you've got, you know, over 100 people, you know, cheering for you, and then at the end you're getting, you know, recognition from, you know, even a young boy, like, you know, wanting you. It's just that must have been amazing. All, you know, all that hard work, you know, paid off.
Yeah, it did, mate. Like, as I always say, like, mate, it's honestly the stuff that I live for. I live and breathe it. Like, I don't really want to do anything else. I'd love to just, if I could had the opportunity, I'd love to just train full time every day and just not have another worry in the world apart from boxing. You know, like, it's just, yeah, I just can't even explain like how great last night was. You know, like, just it just makes me proud knowing that I made everyone else proud last night. It just really meant a lot to me. It was just so incredible.
100%, mate. Well, you've got a bit more content now to talk about on your YouTube channel. Shout out to your YouTube channel.
Exactly. My missus actually said today, funny enough, like, "Oh, you didn't make a video today." I was like, "Yeah, maybe I might make one tomorrow."
Your upload schedule is once a month, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
And mate, before we let you go, anyone you want to thank while you're on here?
Yes, of course. As always, my missus has just been a diamond. She's sitting right there, so with a smile on her face. So yeah, she's always a diamond. My sponsor that sponsored me for the fight, Forrestal and Son, the paint and decorating company, they yeah, they was incredible. Like, you know, they sponsored me. They got their free tickets for the sponsor, so they didn't have to go out of their way to plug me and promote me and sell even more tickets to me, and they did that. So, you know, like, fair play to them guys. That was a real that was just a lovely thing for them to do for me. And yeah, like Southpaw Jab, the team I do my boxing reviews for and all that. Like, I want to shout out to them. They're always a big help for me. They come down, took some photos of me, gave me a t-shirt that I wore out to the ring walk. My trainer, obviously, Kieran Duffy, who is, let's face it, like, he is the man behind the Punk Kid at the moment. Like, he is the man that's behind my rise. Like, yeah, I really can't thank Kieran enough. He's not just a coach, you know. He's a friend of mine as well. And like, he holds especially of late, he holds a deep place in my heart, man. Like, he's a great man. And yeah, I think that's everyone. I know there's probably, obviously, thank you to everyone that come out and supported me, especially my friend Luke. My friend Luke sold so many tickets for me. Sold like 20 tickets for me like last night. So yeah, just thank you to
one night, 20 tickets.
Yeah, well, not one night, not last night, but I mean throughout
okay.
Sold like 20 tickets to me, yeah.
No, that's incredible, mate. And we just want to say thank you as well. I know normally we have Shane on here, but unfortunately he's got COVID at the minute. He's not feeling too well, bless him. A bit of an old woman, I think. But no, yeah, thank you, mate, because, you know, you was the first one to come on the channel, so we appreciate that. But yeah, no, we'll catch up with you again soon. When does the fight officially get announced for the Southern Area title?
I think that they are going to announce it next week. That's what I'm hoping, because they did say that they're going to announce the title fight next week. I'm guessing that it's going to be mine, but hopefully it should be within a month or two that they're going to announce it anyway.
Okay, perfect. All right, mate. Well, congratulations again to you and your team, Kieran Duffy, and everyone else that, you know, involved with your progression. Well done, mate. Go and enjoy yourself for the next couple of weeks, or however long you're going to enjoy yourself for.
Thank you, mate. And also, before we go, sorry, I missed someone.
That's all right.
I also want to thank Tony Peels, just Tony. I just want to thank Tony, who come down to do my seconds last night. He was on Friday. He was at a show, and he didn't get in until like 6 in the morning, and he come all the way down from Sheffield just to help me and Kieran in our corner last night. So fair play to him. I really want to thank him as well.
No, that's absolutely fine, mate. A lot of support you've got.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Well, thanks for jumping on.
Thanks for having me.
I know you're a busy man, and I hope you have a good week off, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Sweet, mate. Thank you. See you soon.
Yeah, thanks a lot, mate. Take care.